So let's see. Yep, 1 year warranty. Yeah, so they're still offering similar incentives minus the closing
The
cost.
roof. Oh, they're not doing the closing costs anymore.
Yeah, they're not doing the closing cost. It doesn't appear now. They're doing the new roof to be installed prior to closing, and they're still offering the home warranty. Or they purchased the home warranty and they're transferring it to the buyers at closing. Good morning, everybody. Robert, Kenneth, Morillo on this wonderful Monday morning. Broker associate with Compass, Florida, license number BK3373543. What's going on, John? Good
Good
morning.
morning, John Sepulveda, MLS 1309244. How are you doing today?
Doing great, doing great. Can't complain. Coming off of a nice and hot weekend
It
here
was
in
hot
Florida.
yesterday. Yeah, definitely
It
nice.
was nice and hot, and now it is
Nice and cool.
gloomy and rainy, nice and cool. Exactly, a nice little refreshing start for the week.
Yeah,
So I'm really excited about this coming week and the way things are shaping up.
absolutely. Things are moving along well.
How are things looking for us on the market today? Anything develop over the weekend that we should know about?
No, nothing. Very slow. Nothing really happening. From last week's the readings of the various reports and uh, the producer price index, which is the inflation for wholesalers, and it all showed that inflation is going down. But nothing. The market's kind of there was actually a reprice on Friday for the bond market did not like the news, so it's just kind of chilling. And we're in that same in that graph that I showed you. We're in between those two lines, and the mortgages just kind of fluctuate between that.
Just bouncing back
But
and forth.
but the data is starting to point towards inflation is reducing. So May 10th report should be oh my God, what happened? Inflation's done. Oh wow. The Fed's gonna pivot, the Fed's gonna stop, and we talked about this before. But so it's gonna be slow. Like this week should be slow. We have this week. What do we have this week? We have housing market index today, tomorrow, housing starts and the permits, mortgage apps, and initial jobless claims on Thursday and existing home sales. So it's kind of slow. It's all mainly about home sales and starts and permits and mortgage applications. So we'll see what the data shows to that.
All right, all right. So we've been anticipating inflation to go down, right? We're waiting, let's see what happens May 10th and beyond. What do you see as far as the interest rates on mortgages happening?
The data points to we're going to be somewhere in the fives at some point this year. When is unknown. The trend was, so at the end of last year, really the trend was for this, as we kind of went into this May 10th report, the way the data was trending, rates should have started to descend a little bit more. We've kind of gone over this with the February jobs report, those numbers that came out, that kind of threw the market through a little different kind of section where the data was not pointed to as far as with that unexpected job data. So the mortgages kind of have held there up and down
between 6 and 7, right?
With the general trend of down.
Okay.
So they've been kind of up and down, but the general trend has been slightly down, and they have been reducing week over week. Rates have been going down. Again, there's a little during the week. It's choppy and it's messy, and on 1 week up, 1 week down. But the trend has been, for rates overall to be down. So the expectation is that at some point this year, we could be in the fives. Where in the fives? Obviously, nobody knows. but we could be somewhere in the fives. I mean, that's kind of what the data is pointing to. Once the inflation kind of is caught up, the housing, kind of data is caught up, and the market's allowed to kind of digest and see what happens with all these rates hikes that have happened, and what happens to the market. I don't know if you pay attention to the news, but there's definitely, I don't know if there's more talk of a recession, but there seems to be more acceptance of a recession in the news and what people are saying, and what people are writing. I mean, I don't know. It's still kind of mixed. There's still people saying soft landing, and there's still people saying a recession. I mean, there's still some of these analysts out there saying this stuff. So we'll find out if we're in a recession or not.
It's lower reception for the it's a warm reception for the recession.
I mean, it's the highest. I mean, if it's like the most announced recession ever, right? They've been talking about a recession for over a year, but then at the same time, it's been ignored, right? No recession. They even changed the rules of the recession and what a definition of a recession is. So it's literally like, who knows what's going to happen? It's just kind of scary in itself, but that's a different conversation.
Okay, has there been any indication in the market with the whole production cut, the oil production cut? Has there been any indication with gas prices and how that might affect?
I mean, the trend was we're at 80 something a barrel. I didn't check the final number. I think I saw 83, 84, but I wasn't keeping an eye on it to remember it. But we're above 80 a barrel for sure. We've been above 80. What the data was pointing to was an increase in gas, right? Regular spring, summer sort of season, right? So the prices goes up. They mix the different types of gas and whatever they do, and the expectation is that gas prices is going to go up anyway. But then OPEC cut the production a couple of weeks ago, starting in May, right? So all this stuff is going to start happening in May, where OPEC will further cut production. And then people will start driving more, right? Spring, summer, and so we should see an increase in price. So gas should be above $4 a gallon. I mean, that's what it's pointing to. Going to be up in the
How soon do you think that's going to happen?
Dude, I thought we were going to be there in December.
Yeah.
So my math was wrong. Obviously, I thought we were going to be in December.
So we're looking at sometime in the summer.
The release of the supply, the reserve that kind of flooded the market. Just there was a lot of that worked in the sense, right? That kept prices down. China's opening was kind of slower than anticipated. The winter in Europe was pretty mild, so there was not as much usage as they thought it was going to be at the beginning. So it was a combination of many things that kind of kept pricing. I thought, like I said, I really thought at Christmas we were going to be close to $5 a gallon, if not above $5. So we'll see. I mean, they're saying. I mean, there's some people saying $6 a gallon, right? So there's some people saying crazy numbers like that. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but we should definitely. There should be price increase. There should be some pain at the pump to some people.
absolutely.
Which won't help the inflation kind of piece, right? Because energy, I mean, that's going to bring up inflation. If gas goes up, then that'll kind of not help with that fight against 2%, right? To the mythical 2% number. So what will that do? God knows. I mean, will the Fed keep on raising rates to get to 2%? Who knows?
Okay. All right. So, I mean, now when it comes down to the mortgages, right? What can we consider as affordable? If it is the market depending on interest rates to go down only for activity to pick up again?
I mean, that's hard to say, right? If I could answer that, right?
If we're down in
I wouldn't be sitting here.
If we're down in 5%, let's just say we're already at the 5% mark, and everything else that's going on. One, does I mean, does us being in a recession outside of a housing market crash, like assuming there is no housing market crash, like everybody thinks there's going to be, um, does that allow activity to pick up regardless of what the recession is doing?
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so, because see what it's more than like, I think I think what we're facing is another, a different type of housing crisis, right? Like one housing crisis we're facing, which is which I think it's a housing crisis, is the inventory, right? There's a shortage of inventory, and
Mhm.
an issue you're going to have, right? So your typical spring market is, sellers are moving, new school district, the kids are going to school, they plan it, right? It's a typical thing, right? Now,
Yeah, finish the school year and then
been
we
there
can.
forever. That's the way it works, right? The problem that is happening right now, that nobody's really, I don't think nobody's really keeping an eye on it, is there is 40 something, mid 40s, right, percent
Mhm.
of the population have a mortgage that's between 2.5% and 3%. That's the rate, right? That's what people have. The mortgages people have, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, for them to have a mortgage, they already own a home, right? So, and those are the homeowners that they're move up buyers or the downsizers, whoever it is. They're the ones that put the homes on the market in the spring. Obviously, besides new construction, right? I'm talking about existing homes. So existing homes, people, those are the people that put the home on the market, is the ones that are either up, they need to upside, downsize, right? They need more room, whatever it is, right? That's sort of the market that's would put those homes for sale.
Mhm.
The problem is that those people that have those homes are the ones that are in these 2.5%, 3% mortgages. So
Mhm.
you're going to put your house that's on mortgage at 2.5%, 3% to go pay, buy a new house at 6.
5%, six
Well,
percent.
that's higher than that. It's in the sixes,
So
right?
let's say at least double, at
At
least
least double what they're paying.
two to
So
two,
so
two and
so
a
that
half times.
correct. So that's a big mental block. That's a big problem for sellers to kind of digest and do it. That's a big change.
Mhm.
So I think people are not, you know, the market is overestimating that a little bit, or underestimating the effect of it. Depends how you look at it. But I think
Mhm.
there's going to be a shortage. There's going to be way less supply. That's why I said back when we started this thing, buy now, because prices are not going to go down. There's a little bit of room. People are still afraid, and rates are still high. But market, I don't really see the pricing dropping, because there's going to be such small amount of inventory, because builders are not really building, right? This is whatever the pace they've been at, whatever they're going to have ready, they're going to have ready. But it's the
Mhm.
existing home sales that getting those sellers from those low rate, those mortgage currently that they're paying, to go into something that's just literally twice as much. I think it's a hard sort of, and that plus the uncertainty of what's happening, I think that'll be enough for sellers to say, you know what, maybe we don't move this spring, maybe we don't switch schools this spring, or maybe we stay put this year. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that's the dynamic. I don't think it's a, I don't think it's a, I mean, there's no supply. I mean, there's no supply. I mean, you can't, we've seen the number, we've been talking about this, right? So it's not magically going to just, housing is just not magically going to appear. So even if rates went back down, I mean, yeah, if rates went back down to the 2s and the 3s, then obviously that would solve the problem of the home sellers going into a higher mortgage. So that would fix the problem. But we're no way near there. That's not going to happen in a short time span. So it'll be a tough year for the market. I really believe it's going to be tough for, just tight inventory, and
Uh,
prices are going to be, there's going to be competition.
yeah, absolutely. Property values are still going up in certain areas, in certain parts of town. I want to give an example of a home that was listed last year in my neighborhood, just a couple doors down. Um, it was listed by a brokerage that wasn't Compass. They ended up canceling, right? And now it's been relisted with another company. So just as an example, this home, when it was originally listed, it was being marketed with the seller paying $10,000 towards the flooring credit, right? The buyers were gonna have the ability to choose their favorite flooring installed before moving, right? Seller was also going to pay for the brand new roof being installed, okay? Fresh exterior paint, right? And for a home warranty and closing costs, right? Or buy option to buy the rate down with $10,000. So that's nearly $50,000 in concessions. At that time, the home was being marketed at $585,000, right? Now that it's been relisted, it appears as if maybe they did all of that stuff and they came back on the market at $647,000. I'm not a math whiz, but 647 minus 585, that's a $62,000 difference. It was on the market 28 days before they canceled last time. They switched brokerages. It's on the market 4 days now. Do you think they're being unrealistic?
Either that or they're smoking crack. One of the two. I mean, that's unfortunately is bad advice. I mean, that's terrible.
I mean, it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath home.
Well, yeah, but it didn't sell at 585. What makes you think it's gonna sell at like 647? Like it makes.
Well, before it was at 585, and they were offering $50,000 towards concessions.
Correct.
Now
they were going to take. They were going to take. It was a 585, and they were going to take 50 grand to fix it. Right. Meaning.
And not only fix
it, but give oh, right. Give the incentive. I'm saying they're going to spend 50 grand. So, real quick math is if it's 685 minus 50, 585 minus 50, the seller's keeping 535, and the house is going to be finished with some incentives as well, right?
Yeah.
Now they want to do 647 with the same finish. Maybe even actually not even the same finish, because now the buyers are not even picking their own colors. The seller already picked the colors and already picked them. So that's not even the same pickings. It's probably less and cheaper pickings. But then they jack the price up 62,000 the other way.
Yep.
And it's either just unrealistic expectations or somebody's on crack, because that doesn't add up. There's no way that's going to add up. In their defense,
as a matter of fact.
And actually, let me rephrase that. It's not the sellers that are on crack, it's the listing agent that's on crack.
Let's see.
Because it's not good advice. I mean, how could you, like, it just doesn't make sense. So it didn't sell at the peak at 585, but now that the market is, they're trying to sell it for 62,000 more.
Yeah, I wonder, we're gonna see. I mean, the property values have gone up dramatically, right? In this neighborhood.
Not from the peak though.
Correct. Yeah.
And appraised values are appraised values. I mean, an appraisal is an appraisal. They're not gonna just find it. I mean, again, even finding the comps is gonna be a challenge in a year.
No, I found the comps. The comp support between 617 to 647. 617 on the low, 647 on the high end.
Okay, so the comps are there. All right.
It may be there. I chose 4 comps. One of the 4 comps sold at 470. The other ones were all above 600,000. But now, I mean, the differences in the incentive.
That's a big difference in the comps, though. Are the comps similar? I mean, that's
they're all
200,000 is a big 200,000 is a big swing in a comp, man.
470, and the reason why is because it was definitely a comp. I only choose twin-like properties, right? But it was definitely one of those deals where they listed at a certain price and they didn't do certain updates, and there was some work to be done on that particular home, and they just they definitely did the whole discounted thing to get out of there. It appeared is what it appeared like to me. So now, new roof to be installed. So let's see. Yep, 1 year warranty. Yeah, so they're still offering similar incentives minus the closing
The
cost.
roof, oh, they're not doing the closing costs anymore?
Yeah, they're not doing the closing cost. It doesn't appear now. They're doing the new roof to be installed prior to closing, and they're still offering the home warranty, or they purchased the home warranty and they're transferring it to the buyers at closing. So
Let's
I
keep,
want to.
keep an eye on it.
We're gonna keep an eye on this listing,
Yeah, let's see how that does, for sure.
right? And we're gonna see how that does as an indicator to what's happening here. This property is in Dr. Phillips, and it was just intriguing because I at first I saw the sign go up and down on the first time it was listed, and I just thought maybe there was a lifestyle change or something happened that they needed to relocate, that they were selling again. But then when I took a closer look at it, it had been canceled and then hit the market again. So shame on me for not catching that listing. It's just 2 doors down from me. But yeah, the home I'm in was purchased at $370,000, and it also is a comp to this, except it has a pool. This one does not. So I still valuated it at the 647 mark. We're gonna see what happens here.
Let's see what the market says.
Because the
That's a
owner
good,
of the home,
that's a good little project. Yeah, that's a good little.
yeah, the owner of the home that I'm living in is considering selling. And they would have some work. They have some work cut out for them in order to get that top dollar value. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna be curious to see how this one pans out.
Yeah, keep an eye on it for sure. It's a good little, good little thing to keep an eye on.
Yup. Any specials on mortgages that buyers should be aware of?
Nothing. No, I mean, there's nothing going on that's other than the bank.
Well, let's talk about Origin Point's unique value proposition then. We've got the
same day mortgage. The same day mortgage is it's actually pretty it's a pretty cool tool. I mean, it's you can't close a loan in a day. Obviously, it's not physically possible because of the CD, the 3-day waiting period and stuff, right? So it's obviously not closing in a day. But the loan can definitely get approved in a day. And you could, if you get an appraisal waiver, right? Those are the sort of the luck of the draw, if you would, right? So, depending on the situation, but if you do get an appraisal waiver, they have closed in 7 days. You know what I mean? So the appraisal waiver is the sort of the key for that. But without the appraisal waiver, the appraisal waiver, they're still closing in 10 days. They can still close a loan in 10 days. So it's a really good product for somebody that needs, number one, to close fast, but that's not so much the whole point of it. It's really more being certain and just having the day you apply, in 8 hours, get your loan approval subject to an appraisal. So that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing.
That is
in this market, with this market where sellers are, what we just talked about, sellers are edgy. They want the assurance because then they're buying the property. So when you go into an offer situation, obviously cash is king. So if you have a cash, you seem to be leading the way, but that's not always the case either, because if somebody offers more money, the seller might be tempted to take the more money rather than the less money with the cash, right? So, or at least asking price. I'm not necessarily more money, but at least asking price, right? Because somebody with cash would maybe tend to offer less than asking. But it's a good option. It's a good option. It'll put a competition with a cash offer or a large down payment amount. It just puts that buyer into a better position, into a better bargaining position, because hey, I already got my loan approved.
Exactly. Subject to an appraisal.
Correct. Which is the appraisal, right? It's really not it's the appraisal. It's a property. It's not the buyer. Exactly. It's a really good tool in that sense to negotiate. I mean, that's a phenomenal tool, actually. Being a closer, getting a loan approval in a day is pretty impressive. So that's really what's there, because everything else with rates, the way the rates are, 3-2-1 buy downs and permanent rate buy downs, but I mean, there's nothing that's not different that any other lenders would not be doing.
Yeah, no.
Same day mortgage is definitely
Same day.
yeah. And it also helps for, like, same case for the listing agent, right? With the
Mhm.
you go to a buyer to present, some buyers are hesitant. Oh, what if I don't get approved? What if my rate's gonna go up? Get the same day mortgage, get approved. You go, for sure you're getting approved, and you can put your house on the market with a little bit that extra peace of mind. So
No,
it's a
absolutely.
phenomenal product in that sense.
Yeah, to be able to say, I mean, that's a dream client, someone who has everything in a row, they can submit it, get the same day mortgage, and be ready to submit that strong offer is super clutch.
It absolutely puts a buyer in a better position. I mean, that's
So
especially
now,
in this type of market.
what is the difference between the same day mortgage and the power bid approval?
The power bid approval, the power bid approval was there before. So the same day
Mm,
mortgage I don't know if it evolved from power bid approval. But
Gotcha.
power bid approval is it's a power bid. So you get pre-approved when the person submitted for pre-approval. The pre-approval gets submitted to underwriting and gets fully underwritten. So they get back a loan approval, again, subject
In a
to.
short amount of time.
Correct.
So
But it's not the same day concept. It's not. It's just it's a fully underwritten pre-approved, and
okay.
the borrower gets a conditional approval subject to an appraisal. So it's a fully underwritten approval. That's what the power bid is. So that was kind of the phase one, right? So then they introduced the same day mortgage, was kind of based on the same concept, except that this is the actual mortgage approval. But again, the other ones are pre-approval. This is a mortgage approval, but they're both kind of one evolved from the other.
Got it. So now, I mean, the same day mortgage is the way to go for speed.
Correct. Because it's 8-hour thing. The buyer
Mhm.
submit the documents within an hour, then they get a $250 credit towards closing costs.
Okay, so let's talk about that. That boils down to the USP. Uh, let's talk about that. What do you need to be ready for a same day mortgage? What is it that a buyer needs day one?
What is it that a buyer needs as
Yeah.
far as documents?
As far as documents.
If they're W-2 employee, which is what they need to be for same day mortgage. W-2 employees, so they need W-2s, pay stubs, and bank statements. Actually, they don't need the bank statements. It gets done electronically. But they need to have a job for 2 years, and they need to have the money for down payment.
And with okay, the W-2s, so with the job for 2+ years, they obviously have to have filed their taxes, right?
Nope.
Okay, so they just need to have their W-2s. Okay.
Because it doesn't work for self-employed.
Oh, gotcha.
Because self-employed, you gotta do the animal, right? You gotta get the tax returns and transcripts, and it's extra layers that need to be done with self-employed. So it wouldn't be able to you wouldn't be able to do same day mortgage with self-employed borrower.
So W-2 pay stubs, job for 2 years.
That's it. But you don't even need the W-2s because it gets done electronically. So I mean, theoretically, you don't need to have the W-2s in your possession because it just gets done electronically.
Okay. And so that provide, I mean, shoot, $250 towards closing, you said, right?
Yeah, which is not.
That's a good enough incentive for me to have.
But it's $250. Is you get the free 250, but more than that, is you get the loan approval. Up front and right away. So it just puts you in a better place all around. I mean, if you're an agent, you got a buyer, they qualify. You're a buyer, same day, you're approved. Stress goes away. You're a seller, your buyer it's approved. No stress. You're a listing agent, the offer that's presented for your seller, it's already approved. I mean, it's just a no-brainer all around, you know?
The win, win, win,
And
win.
if it costs money, I mean, oh, you gotta pay, I don't know, you gotta pay $250 to get it done. And people, I don't know, $250, but I mean, you're actually getting $250 for doing it. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer.
It's an incentive.
100%. Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, I think that is something. I don't know if you saw the short video that I did on Instagram, the 60-minute clip. I'm not 60-minute, 60-second clip with the golden nugget about the FHA 75 rule.
Yep.
I think that this would definitely be a good one to do for that.
Absolutely.
Definitely, like, hey, how to get $250 towards closing. Boom. List that.
And an approval on the same day.
And approved on the
More
same
importantly, yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we're gonna work on that.
All right.
So
No, I mean, it's not 250 is not the scheme of all things. 250 is really nothing, but it's the fact of getting it done. I mean, think about it, it's just you want to buy a house, yeah, sure, you know, and then you have the conversation, you apply, and 8 hours later you got your approval. It's pretty cool. I mean, if you think about that, sort of where we started, you know, when I started in the business 20 plus years ago, which was, you know, a file was about this thick, you know, of paper. Each borrower was a file about this thick. You know what I mean? To come from that to get a loan approved in 8 hours, it's pretty impressive.
That is. So we're gonna talk about running a campaign for that, and because could you imagine having leads that are ready for same day mortgages? Like that's golden.
I mean, and again, it's not obviously it's not for we weren't planning this, right? We just kind of started talking about this.
No, yeah.
And so I mean, I mean, if I'm a buyer and I'm all for that, I'm like, yeah, of course I want that. Like, you know, if I'm a listing or if I'm a real estate agent, of course I want my buyer. Like
that covers half of your inspection costs or half of your appraisal costs. Like,
I mean, but not only that, it's the peace of mind that you already know. I'm approved. I mean, that alone is just, especially in this market, like especially in this tight market, tight situation, everything being as important as it is, right? Because any little thing will kill a deal with debt to income. I mean, it's just the pricing makes it so much more harder for people to qualify just because the debt to income ratio and the pricing, the payments are higher. So just to know that I don't have to worry about that. Just that peace of mind alone is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, I like that.
Never mind anything else.
I like that. We're gonna run that. We're gonna run that, John. We got to.
Let's do it, man. It's there. I mean, it's just it's mind-boggling. It's just like utilize it. It's a really, really good tool. And it's not like it's a brand new thing that they're trying out to see if it works. They've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
You know, that product's been around for a while. So
and is there any inclusion with the same day mortgage and Hometown Heroes program?
What do you mean?
Like, if let's say I'm a nurse and
we don't have Hometown Heroes.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
We don't have Hometown Heroes.
Okay. All right.
Because that's a state specific funding.
Correct. But that's what I'm saying. Can I do this same day mortgage and then utilize the Hometown Heroes program for?
No, because we don't have Hometown Heroes. We would have to be able to offer Hometown Heroes for somebody to do the same day mortgage.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, it's still a good program nonetheless. $250 to avoid all the guessing and the waiting, and that's enough for me.
Well, you get paid $250 though. You don't have to pay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you get paid $250, and you don't have to. You avoid the stress, and theoretically, you can have your mortgage, your loan mortgage approved before you have your home inspection. It's pretty cool. I mean, if you think about that, right? You can have your mortgage approved before your home inspection is done. So you can go to your home inspection knowing your loan's already approved.
Yeah.
Most people, when they go to home inspection, they're just trying to see what the home inspections look like and what's going to happen. they haven't even filed a loan application yet.
No, this definitely gives you a huge peace of mind going in, because then you get to focus on the home inspection with a clear mind and no
Just focus on the house.
pressure.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with both.
And if you think about it, so is the seller. Because if your loan's already approved and you do the home inspection and you got some minor knick-knack stuff that you can negotiate, you as a buyer are in a better position to say, hey, you know, this window, whatever, this paint needs to be, this whatever, your loan's already approved.
Yeah,
Like,
so the balls
the seller has a little bit, there's a different mentality to it, because the seller is not anxious, right? If the seller is selling their house to buy a new house and they need the money from this sale to buy the new house, the seller is just as excited and is ready to move into the
into their next
new stage of their life, whatever it is. Also, right? It's not just the buyer, because the seller is also a buyer. So the seller has actually more stress than could have more stress than the buyer, because they're also buying. So they got stress from this transaction and they got stress from the next transaction. So I mean, it's just stress all around. If you just, at least your loan's approved, I mean, it's not gonna remove any stress from the other transaction if the other buyer gets into, you know what I mean, that has issues. But at least your own issues are like, I don't know if they're about this, because that's where it gets complicated.
Yeah.
It's a good product. I mean, it definitely is a good product.
Yep. I'm interested in seeing how that campaign is gonna run. So you got any last thoughts before we let them go today?
Let's see this week, kind of quiet. Let's see what kind of stays in the, you know, on the news and the economic news and what develops. So it should be quiet the next couple of weeks, but keep your eye on the target. We'll see May 10th what that does, and hopefully, you know, I mean, it gets frustrating. I mean, for me, like, I saw the report last week. I was really expecting. I don't know if like that day, I was like, okay, this week we're almost there. We're gonna make it. And then Friday we're like, crap, here we go again. You know, but I want to see it. Like, I want this thing to kind of, it's there, it's building. I mean, I think people need it. You know, I mean, the people are, there's a lot of people in the sidelines. Although there's people, like, I saw tons of like open houses signs. I mean, it's starting to, there's definitely activity picking up.
Yeah, I stopped by an estate sale this weekend, and it looks like that house, as soon as they get rid of all those things, is gonna be ready to go as well. So
Pop in there with a, you know, listing presentation.
Oh, you already know. That was my incentive for going anyways.
Okay. Absolutely.
So tomorrow we're gonna have tomorrow's annual tax day for 2023. We're gonna be meeting with tax specialist Heidi Rodriguez. You'll be in Sarasota, and then Wednesday will be the last day that you'll be on before you leave out of town. So we're gonna let the folks know what we got coming up and the progress we're gonna be making on the podcast.
Some good changes and some good things happening.
Yeah, definitely. With that said, I'm Robert Kenneth Morillo, broker associate with Compass Florida, license number BK3373543. John, let them know.
John Sepulveda and MLS 1309244 Origin Point, coming at you. Another episode of the DM.